Hey YouTube, this is Meeting with Bam's Tactical. So today we are on part 7 of our prepper checklist. This is one that most beginning preppers struggle with, I really feel like, and this is the financial part of it, right? Because as a beginning prepper, we just see all of these things that we need to have and buy, and we go out and we spin, and we stack, and then we have no money if there's an emergency. And I mean like in an everyday emergency, like, oh, your transmission goes out or your AC goes out or something like that, you may not have the cash saved up to pay for something like that, which is a problem. Those are just as common and just as likely to happen as a hurricane or a tornado or the end of the world. So we have to be prepared evenly across the board. So in this, we're going to talk about how to financially be prepared for 30 to 60 days. So my personal opinion, and I'm no financial advisor or financial expert, but this is what I've done for me over the last decade, and it's helped me out, is we want some cash on hand, right? We want at least, I'd say, starting out tier 1, about $1,000 in small bills, meaning 10s, 20s, somewhere around there. This is so if somebody was not taking card or electronic payments, you could buy those things. Or if there was for some reason that you weren't able to make those purchases for whatever reason, I'm not trying to get too conspiratorial like Mark of the Beast talk here, but if you were not able to make electronic purchases, then you would have some petty cash on hand to make some small last minute preparations. But also what you need is 2 months worth of rent and bills saved up. So it's not just cash, but you also need accessible monies. Now, this doesn't have to be, this is where I see a lot of preppers make a mistake, is like they'll go buy silver or gold and say, well, this is how I'm hedging against the end of the world. But then if they lost their job and they needed to pay rent this month, where's that money coming from? Are you going to go sell that silver and gold now? What if silver's down? What if gold's down? I mean, that's a long-term investment. It is not a short-term, hedge against rent and bills. So what I suggest is $1,000 in cash and 2 months worth of rent and bills stored somewhere electronically. Now that means it could be a savings account that you don't touch, you just leave sitting. It could be something like a mutual fund, but make sure you have a broker or somebody who helps you, get in and out of that fund real quickly. Like that was a thing that I made real sure with my guy. I was like, hey man, I want this to be able to sit for a lifetime and me not need it. But if I need it tomorrow, I want to be able to get it tomorrow. I was like, I know, so, find me a fund here that's going to minimize my penalties for withdrawing tomorrow, even if that means smaller gains in the long run. Because that money isn't meant for a long-term investment. I've got those also. But this is my emergency fund. Like if I lost my job tomorrow, then I would be able to pay my rent and bills for at least a few months while I try to find another way to be gainfully employed. So, this is a real quick video. I'm just telling you what you need to do is plan on getting $1,000 in cash saved. I have a fireproof gun safe, and so what I've got is this is also a fireproof bag. All right, you can find them on Amazon. They're not too expensive. This one is like their full size, their large size, because it also has like birth certificates and all kinds of other identifying information for me and my wife in here, as well as having our petty cash in here. So you want to have your cash on hand and you want to have it safe. You want it stored away where it won't get stolen or burned. But you also need, like I said, tier 1 is 30 to 60 days, 2 months worth of accessible money electronically so that you can still make all of those payments on things that you need to make payments on. All right, so sit down, actually calculate your budget. How much is your mortgage? How much is electricity on the most expensive month? Because you don't know when this is going to happen, right? So do electricity in August. Do gas in the winter. Do water in the summer. Like when these bills are most expensive, calculate all that up, add it all together, your car payments, everything. That times 2 is what you need to have saved, readily accessible electronically. I hope this makes sense to you. I hope that you understand that this needs to happen before tier 2, right? We're going to get into food and water again in tier 2. We're going to get into protection again in tier 2. We're going to get into medical and all that stuff in tier 2. But before we start buying even more guns and ammo and buckets of beans, we need to have our financial stuff put away. It's like if a hurricane comes through, right, and we can't work, or they put us on lockdown for a month. Like, you need to be able to pay for things, because in the end, when that mortgage comes due, there may be people who aren't willing to buy your gold, silver, or buckets of beans so that you can keep living in your house. All right, so this is still tier 1. This is very important stuff. Everybody should have this in America. Everybody should have this much money saved in America. Not a credit card with that big a limit on it, but money actually saved and ready to spend. Hope you enjoyed the video. Check out Patreon, where we have even more exclusive content. Stick around and subscribe if you want to see more of this series. And hit that like button or attack me in the comments, whichever you prefer. Thanks for watching.